Restate your registry.
Of Sakapia, Banyahala, Banyashal.
Yahabashim Shabrakata. Oh, this way. This way.
Laya Shal.
Laya Shala.
Oh.
All right. All right. With that, Amayam, which means to stand. Sar, which means to turn. Yapanu Hakadam, which means to face the east. Now we're going to start with the Lord's Prayer in the Lashon Kodash, and then we will read it in the English. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Hayah, Shemka, Yahweh, Malakuka, Taba'ah, Ratazaka, Hayah, Aisha, Ba'aratada, Kubwa, Hayah, Bashamayim, Nathanawa, Lacham, Kal, Yawam, Wasalakanaw, Kabawatnaw, Kasalaknaw, Kabawatinaw, Wala'ah, Tabi'aynaw, Banasayawan, Abo, Hawashaynaw, Mayat, Pride, Hayat, Laka, Hamalakwa, Wahala, Wataparat, Lahawalamyam, Aman. Now in the English, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. All right, next prayer we're going to do is the Hakah prayer, the power prayer. Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Barukushah, Batalanawa, Hakah, Larapa'ah, Kalmakala, Wakalmanawa, Hakah, Latsahar, Hamatazarayim, Hakah, Lahakwim, Hamathium, Hakah, Al-Rakawa, Hatama'ala, Lagarishan, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, the water. Now the power prayer in English. Lord, in the name of Yahweh Shai, please give us the power. Power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease. Power to cleanse the lepers. The power to raise the dead. The power against unclean spirits. To cast them out. In the name of Yahweh Shai. Thank you, so be it. Now we have the blessings of Israel prayer. Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Barakanawa, Wayasha'ala, Bahabayah, Saparia, Barak, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, the water. Amen. Now, blessing of Israel in the English. Lord, in the name of Yahweh Shai, bless us and Israel and the school. In the name of Yahweh Shai. Thank you, so be it. Next prayer, we got Psalm chapter 121. Asha, Ayanya, Ahaharya, Ma'ayan, Yaba'a, Isaiah, Ma'ayin, Yahweh, Aisha, Shamayam, Ba'arataza, Ayatan, Lamawat, Regalata, Ayanawam, Shamarka,
Shamar,
Hana,
Kana,
La'a,
La'a,
Yanawam,
Nanawam,
Wala'a,
Walala,
Yayashan,
Yashan,
Shawamar,
Shalmar,
Yasha'al,
Yashal,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Shamarka,
Shamar,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Tazalka,
Zab,
Al Yan,
Yah,
Yan Yanka,
Yanka,
Yawama,
Yawamam,
Hashamash,
Hashma,
La'a,
La'a,
Yakka,
Yakka,
Wayara,
Wayara,
Walayala,
Wala Yala,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Yashamarka,
Shamar,
Makalarai,
Karai,
Yashamor,
Hashma,
Afnapashka,
Atmapash,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Yashamor,
Hashma,
Taza'afka,
Azab,
Wabawaaka,
Wabai,
Mayata,
Ayata,
Wa'ai, I will love.
Abdullah.
Psalm 121 in English. I will lift up my eyes into the hills,
I will lift up my eyes to the hills.
from whence cometh my help.
From whence cometh my help?
My help cometh from Yahweh,
My help cometh from Yahweh,
which made heaven and earth.
which made heaven and earth.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He that keepeth thee
He that keepeth thee
will not slumber.
will not slumber.
Behold,
Behold,
he that keepeth Yahshua
he that keepeth Yahshua
shall neither slumber nor sleep.
shall neither slumber nor sleep.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh is thy shade
Yahweh is thy shade
upon thy right hand.
upon thy right hand.
The sun shall not smite thee by
The
day,
sun shall not smite thee by day,
nor the moon by night.
nor the moon by night.
Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil.
Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil.
He shall preserve thy soul.
He shall preserve thy soul.
Yahweh shall preserve thy going out
Yahweh shall preserve thy going out
and thy coming in
and thy coming in
from this time forth
from this time forth,
and even forevermore.
even forevermore.
Next prayer we're going to do is Psalms chapter 83 in the ancient Hebrew. Alahaya,
Alahaya,
Al-Zamayala Ka,
Adabayalaka,
Afacharash,
Sakarash,
Wa'al Tashakwat,
Wa'ata Shakbat,
Al, Hayahana,
Kayahana,
Awayabyaka,
Awayabyak,
Yahamayawan,
Mayawan,
Ra'ash,
Ra'ash,
Al-Aimaka,
Ha'amak,
Ya'arayamwa,
Yayamwa,
Sawada,
Sawadah,
Wayata,
Wayata,
Ya'aitazawa,
Ya'atazawa,
Al-Tazapawanyaka,
Altasawanyaka,
Amarawa,
Amaru,
Lakawa,
Makau,
Wanakatidam,
Makatiyadam,
Magawiya,
Gawi,
Wala'a,
Walala,
Yazakar,
Zakar,
Sham Yasha'ala,
Sham Yashal,
Iwada,
Awada,
Kaya,
Kaya,
Nawa'aitazawa,
Awa'atazawa,
Laba,
Laba,
Yakadwa,
Kagu,
Alyaka,
Awyaka,
Baryat,
Barya,
Yakarathwa,
Yakarasu,
Ahalia,
Ahawi,
Adawam,
Adawam,
Wayashma'alia,
Yashma'al,
Mawa'aba,
Awam,
Wahagaria,
Agar,
Gabal,
Ba,
Wa'imawan,
Anamat,
Wa'imalak,
Amalak,
Halashat,
Palasha,
Anyashabya,
Amishabi,
Tazawar,
War,
Gamashawar,
Yama Shabor,
Nalawa,
Alawa,
Aima,
Amam,
Hayawa,
Ayawa,
Zarawai,
Zawat,
Labanya Lawat,
Bani Lawat,
Salah,
Salat,
Aisha Laham,
Inshallah,
Kamadya,
Madya,
Kasaya Sarah,
Siyah Sarah,
Kayabya,
Kayabya,
Banakal,
Banakal,
Kwayashwan,
Wayashwan,
Nashamadwa,
Hashmadwa,
Ba'ayan,
Bayan,
Da'ara,
Dara,
Hayawa,
Ayuwa,
Daman,
Duma,
La'adama,
Ladama,
Shaitumwa,
Dam,
Nadab,
Nada,
Yabmawa,
Yamawa,
Kaira,
Ra,
Kaza Abba,
Zab,
Kazabat,
Zab,
Katazamanai,
Zamanai,
Kaunasai Kamwa,
Amisai Kam,
Ashar,
Ashar,
of Marawa,
Maru,
Nayarashah,
Ayushab,
Lanawa,
Anawa,
Ah, Na'awa,
Na'awa,
Alahai,
Alahai,
Alahaya,
Alahaya,
Shathumwa,
Dam,
Kagalgala,
Gagal,
Kakwash,
Kwas,
Lapanya Rawaka,
Lapanya, Rawaka,
Ka'ash,
Ka'ash,
Tabaira,
Tabair,
Ya'ira,
Tabair,
Wakalahaba,
Wakalahaba,
Salahat,
Alahat,
Harayam,
Harayam,
Kantaradakma,
Kantaradam,
Basa Iraka,
Basair,
Wabasa Wapathka,
Basabapat,
Tabahalam,
Alam,
Mala'a,
Alam,
Hanyaham,
Panyaham,
Walawan,
Palawan,
Wayabakwashwa,
Kwas,
Shimka,
Shaka,
Yahawa,
Yahaw,
Yabashwa,
Bas,
Wayabahalwa,
Bahaw,
Ayai,
Aya, Aya,
Wayapaparwa, Wayabadwa,
Abad,
Wayataiwa,
Aya,
Kayata,
Aya,
Shimka,
Shaka,
Yahawa,
Yahaw,
Labadka,
Bad,
Al-Yawan,
Ayawan,
Al-Kaha,
Alkaha,
Arataza.
Rat,
Now we're going to read Psalm 83 in the English form. Keep not thou silence,
keep not thy silence,
O Yahweh.
O Yahweh,
Hold not thy peace.
hold not thy peace,
Be not still,
be not still,
O Yahweh.
O Yahweh,
For lo,
for lo,
thy enemies make a tumult,
thy enemies make a tumult,
and they that hate thee
they that hate thee
have lifted up their head.
have lifted up the head,
They have taken crafty counsel
they have taken crafty counsel
against thy people,
against thy people,
and consulted
and consulted
against thy hidden ones.
against thy hidden one.
They have said,
They have said,
Come,
come,
and let us cut them off
let us cut them off
from being a nation,
being a nation,
that the name of Yahshua
maybe Yashal,
may be no more in remembrance.
maybe no more,
For they have consulted together
they have consulted together
with one consent.
with one consent.
They are confederate against thee.
They are confederate against thee.
The tabernacles of Edom,
The tabernacles of Edom
and the Ishmaelites
and the Israelites
of Moab,
of Moab
and the
and
Hagarenes,
Hagarenes,
Gabal,
Gabal
and Ammon,
and Ammon
and Amalek,
and Amalek,
the Philistines,
the Philistines,
with the inhabitants of Tyre.
the inhabitants of Tyre.
Ashur also is joined with them.
Sure also is wrong with them.
They have hope in the children of Lot.
They hope in the children of Lot.
Salah.
Salah.
Do unto them
Do unto them
as unto the Midianites,
as unto the Midian,
as to Sisera,
as to Sisera,
as to Jabin,
as to Jabin,
at the brook of Kaisan,
the brook of Kaisan,
which perished at Endor.
which perished at Endor.
They became as dung for the earth.
They became as dung for the earth.
Make their nobles
Make their nobles
like Oreb
like Oreb
and like Zeid.
and like Zeid.
Yea,
Yea,
all their princes as Zabah
all their princes as Zabah
and as Zalmunna,
and as Zalmunna,
who said,
who said,
let us take to ourselves
let's take to
the
ourselves
houses of God in possession.
the houses of God in possession.
O Yahweh,
O Yahweh,
make them like a wheel,
make them like a wheel,
as the stubble before the wind,
as a stubble before the wind,
as the fire burneth a wood,
as the fire burn up the wood,
and as the flame set the mountains on fire.
as the flames set the mountains on fire.
So persecute them with thy tempest,
So persecute them with thy temper,
and make them afraid
make them afraid
with thy storm.
with thy storm,
Fill their faces with shame,
fill their faces with shame,
that they may seek thy name,
they may seek thy name.
O Yahweh.
O Yahweh,
Let them be confounded
let them be confounded
and troubled forever.
and troubled forever.
Let them be put to shame
Let them be put to shame
and perish,
and perish,
that men may know
that men may know
that thou,
that thou,
whose name alone
whose name alone
is Yahweh,
is Yahweh,
art the most high
the Most High,
over all the earth.
over all the earth.
Next prayer is the blessings prayer, the rank and order prayer. Barakatah Yahweh,
Barakatah Yahweh,
wa Yahweh Shai,
Wa Yahweh Shai,
wa ma Yahweh,
Amu Yakal,
wa Alahayim,
Wa Alahayim,
matazad Ya'ah,
Atazab Ya'ah,
Alawap Yahana,
Alawap Yahana,
ha Alawapim,
Ha Alawapim,
ha Saranyim,
Ha Surani,
ha Pataz the Yanyim,
Fataz Yanyim,
ha Ha Yayelia,
Hakari Yahweh,
wa ha Awakim,
Waha, Wati,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Bahasham,
Mahasham,
Yahweh Shai,
Yahweh Shai,
the water.
Wati.
Blessings prayer in the English. Bless you, Yahweh,
Bless you, Yahweh,
and Yahweh Shai,
and Yahweh Shai,
and Michael,
and Michael,
and the angels,
and the angels,
commanding General Yohana,
Manager Yahana,
the generals,
the general,
the captains,
the captain,
the officers,
the officer,
the
the
troopers,
trooper,
and the sisters.
and the sister,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
in the name of Yahweh Shai,
name Yahweh Shai,
thank you.
thank you,
So be it.
so be it.
With that, sorry. Oh, we blow one more time. Mashabia means to sit. Clap it up, man. Come on. Give it up for the Most High, man. Shalom. Yahweh Shem Yahshua Barakatah. This is the Isupk. Started out at 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York in 1969. We are under Commanding General Yohana. And we're here to teach the truth of the Bible that so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians are the real Israelites according to the scriptures. You done caught us on the Sabbath service. Okay, this is a Sabbath service. We go and we read the Hebrew. We do our prayers in the Hebrew. We are reviving an ancient culture, and that is what no other school is doing, the way the UPK has been doing since the late 60s. You understand? This is the real awakening on the earth right now. You see what's going on across the whole world right now? All the confusion, all the uproars, all the illnesses and plagues, wars amongst nations, all the political turmoil, all the political division. Nations are being divided right now because of the words spoke by the prophets in the school that the Most High works with so that his orders are given on the earth. You understand? Because once the Most High's words, you got to understand something about this book. The Holy Bible is the tangible form of the Most High's Spirit. And the churches don't ever even touch it. They don't touch the ancient Hebrew. They don't touch the English translation that is the most accurate to the ancient Hebrew. And because of that, the understanding has been lost for many generations. But we bring back these generations and we're showing, get the scripture. And we're showing our people what it looks like to come back to an ancient heritage, to awaken to a form of thinking that predates this Western civilization, a way of thinking that supersedes all other influences on us, because we now start to get closer to the understanding that there's only one influence that we're supposed to be given, and that is the influence of the scriptures themselves. When we come out here, we should give you the scriptures. We're not here to teach you a religion. We're not here to teach you any man-made traditions. We're here to show you what the Bible says. We live according to what the Bible says, and we prove all the things that we do using the Bible, not our own opinions. The scripture says in Isaiah 8:20, to the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, there is no light in them. So we have to stick with the scriptures, y'all. We have to continue to lock into the Most High's words. We come into the Sabbath service, it takes things a step further than what you typically get during the weekly service, because we are actually reading in the language that was spoken of so many generations ago, shortly after the flood. You understand? Where you had Israel, you had the basically from the seeds of Shem, the people that spoke Hebrew. Okay. Now, of course, going into the Shemitic people, there's a specific people within them, the children of Israel, who we are waking up and who our message is for. But people from all nations are going to see the things that we do and understand as time progresses that this is the truth. There's no denying it. Everybody that tries to come up against our school, they get torn down by the debate captains. They get torn down by the Bible itself, because the Bible is a double-edged sword that cuts deep down to the spirit. And that's our job, is to bring it to you, because it is yours, Black, Hispanic, and Native American. It belongs to you. And so does our language. So as we go into the Bible, when we read the interlinear version, you could download the Bible Hub app for free on iOS and Android devices. Download the Bible Hub app, get that set up, click on the interlinear version, and go to Genesis. What do we start on? Genesis chapter, is it 10 or 11? 11. Genesis chapter 11, start at verse 28. We're going to be reading quite a bit today. So, Cap, you all go ahead and take it away whenever you're ready, brother. Okay.
It's the book of Genesis, chapter 11 and verse 28. Wayamath, Haran, Al, Panya, Darak, Abiyahu, Ba'arataza, Ma, Wala, Dathaw, Ba'awar, Kashadayam. Verse 29. Wayakha, Abaram, Wanakaw, Nashayam, Sham, Ashath, Abaram, Suraya, Washam, Ashath, Nakawar, Malakah, Bath, Haran, Abiyah, Malakah, Wa'abiyah. It's like Wa'abiyah. Yasakah. Verse 30. Wathahayah. Soraya. Akara. Ayan. La. Walad. Verse 31. Wayukwa. Darak. Ath. Abaram. Banawa. Wa'atha. Lawat. Ban. Haran. Banawa. Wa'ath. Soraya. It's like Sharaya. Kalathaw. Ashath. Abaram. Banawa. Wa Yataza'aw. Atham. Amawar. Kashadayim. Lalakath. Arataza. Kanaim. Wayaba'al. Id. Karan. Wayashabal. Sham. Verse 32. Wayahayaw. Yamaya. It's like Yamaya. Tharak. Kamash. Shanayam. Wama. It's like Wama Atayam. Shana. Wayamath. Tharak. Bakaran. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 12, and verse 1. Wayamar. Yahweh. Al. Abaram. Laka. Ma'aratazak. Wa mama wala. It's like mala. It's like wama mawala dathak. Yeah. Wama mawala dathak. It's like Wama Bayath. Abarak. It's like Ha'arataza. Ashar. Arak. Verse 2. Wa Aishak. Lagawaya. Got a wall. Wa slave. Wa Abarak. Wa Agadallah. Slave. Shamak. Wayahaya. Barakah. Verse 3. Wa Barakah. Mabarayak. Well, Mabarakayak. Wama la. Wama kwalalak. Ara. Wana barakau. Bak. Ka. Masha Pakath.
There you go.
That is it. Masha Pakath. Ha'adamah. That's how verses.
All right, let's get it in English. I'm just sharing the class on all the groups. Those of you that are tuning in, Baba Kushar, go ahead and check in. And of course, like and share the class for the sake of the algorithms. You know how this damn internet is, man. They post stuff for people to flock to when stuff starts to pick up steam as far as like popularity. Then it shows up on everyone's pages. You know what's up? We don't realize is that a lot of Israel is off on Saturdays, right? Which is righteous in itself because that is our day of rest, right? And they spend a lot of time on Facebook. Like I see the most posts on Facebook on a Friday. You know what I'm saying? Oh, sorry. Well, Friday to Saturday. Basically the Sabbath, right? And the crazy thing about that is like we should all be locked into Sabbath services, whatever location you're at or whichever Sabbath service you prefer to watch. You know, we of course try to be as thorough as we can to bring high quality, you know, Sabbath services for y'all, you know what I'm saying? And of course, all of it for the Most High. It's all we do this for, you know what I mean? It's ain't about our glory. It's always about humility in the eyes of the Most High because we're still trying to earn his favor. These brothers and sisters, in the school are so humble. They understand that we have much work to do to earn that favor. Okay. And part of that favor is the extension of our understanding to y'all as people that are stepping into the truth and learning about your culture and wanting to know more and wanting to see what exactly that lifestyle is like. This is just a sneak peek of it. The Sabbath service is a great opportunity to get a better understanding of it. Now, again, we were in Genesis chapter 11. Okay. Starting at verse 28. Let's get that into English.
It's the book of Genesis, chapter 11, and verse 28.
Mm-hmm.
And Haran died before his father Terah in the land of his nativity, in Ur of the Chaldeans.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 29. And Abraham and Nahor took them wives.
Nahor.
It's like Nahor took them wives. The name of Abraham's wife was Sarai.
Mm-hmm.
And the name of Nahor's wife, Milcah, the daughter of Haran, the father of Milcah, the father of Isupk. Verse 30. But Sarai was barren. She had no child.
Damn. Now again, Sarai was Abraham's wife, or Abram's wife. His name was Abram at this time. But she was barren. She was having trouble having kids. Okay, that's a situation that some of the people in Israel can understand, because there are times where, hormones get all over the place, especially with certain foods that we eat now and preventative measures that people take for birth control purposes and things like that has an effect on the bodies of the women and the children of Israel. Now, I will say this too. Most Israelite women are very fertile, but this is something that can happen. And a woman that wants to give birth and can't give birth, it's got to be a devastating feeling. You got to understand what Sarai is going through right here. Go ahead.
Verse 31. And Terah took Abram, his son, and Lot, the son of Haran, his son's son, and Sarai, his daughter-in-law, his son Abraham's wife. And they went forth with them from Ur to the Chaldees to go into the land of Canaan. And they came unto Haran and dwelt there.
So the land of Canaan, that's a very biblically important land right there. Canaan is particularly, what verse was that again? I see it. Canaan, also known as the lowland. And this is the land west of the Jordan. People by the descendants of Canaan, which was conquered by the Israelites once you get to Joshua. Okay. But at this point in time, that's where he wanted to go. He wanted to be with his folk. That's what was going on. Keep going.
Verse 32. And the days of Terah were 205 years, and Terah died in Haran.
Keep going.
Verse 12. This is the book of Genesis chapter 12 and verse 1. Now the Lord has said unto Abram, get thee out of thy country, and from thy kindred, and from thy father's house, unto the land that I will show thee.
The Most High shows us what direction we need to go. We may not see it yet. We may not have the visual representation of it yet. But a man of faith like Abram, who I think the Christian church refers to him as the father of faith, right, was somebody that had trust in the Most High even before he knew what he was getting himself into. And that's something that is important. There's a theme that you see all throughout the Bible when there is success amongst the children of Israel, is that they're able to go head first into certain situations that there are some uncertainties. Maybe there isn't a complete understanding, but because of their ability to have faith in the Lord and trust that the Most High will have their best interests at heart and take care of them, this is the beginning of what it takes to build a strong nation. And it started, of course, all the way back to Adam, but it really starts to take shape once you get to Abram. That's why the predecessors that are mentioned when it comes to our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? Abram is an important part of it. And this is how he earns his name. Okay, keep going.
Verse 2. And I will make thee a great nation, and I will bless thee, and make thy name great.
And make what?
Thy name great.
Make what?
Thy name great.
What does Abram actually mean? Do you know? Abram means exalted father. meaning somebody that's been chosen to be risen above other fathers that are out there. There are many men on the earth at this point in time, but Abram was somebody that was actually being lifted up by the Most High to be an even better example for the world to see. It started with this root right here. This is where we're getting to the grimy and the gritty of the scriptures, because this is when the Most High's narrative really starts to take form. Now that he's set the foreground, we've been reading in the first 10, 11, chapters of Genesis. Now we could really start focusing on the main point. Now, again, that's the thing. There's a lot of history that happened from Genesis 1 all the way to Genesis 12, right? A lot of history. So much history that you could say that even outlasts the amount of time that the rest of the Bible is occurring to, even if you include up to today, which is thousands of years later, 3,000 or 4,000 years later. But we're talking about a time of everything up until the point where Abraham is introduced in the scriptures. And that alone tells you just how important the children of Israel that are going to be coming from Abraham are, because the Most High did not waste any time explaining everything that happened to get to this point. Footnotes, so to speak. Very detailed footnotes, but only 10 to 11 chapters at most. And then the rest of the entire Bible is about Israel and, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and of course, Israel, right? So what am I saying? It's almost like the Most High was like how some movies, they take forever to get to the action. The Most High is not playing with that. He's getting you right into the meat of it within the first 30 minutes of the movie. You know what I'm saying? Like, imagine, I don't want to get into many details and examples, but just imagine a major blockbuster movie where the main story really starts to take form, like almost right at the beginning, that gets you hooked in. This is the Most High is a perfectionist when it comes to writing the narrative of all this. So this is how it starts. Keep going. Thou shalt be a blessing.
And thou shalt be a blessing.
Okay, go
Verse
ahead.
3. And I will bless them that bless thee, and curse him that curseth thee.
Mm-hmm.
And in thee shall all families of the earth be blessed.
Read that again.
And I will bless them.
No, that last part.
And in thee shall all families of the earth be blessed.
And this is an important thing to understand, because while salvation is for Israel, in the seed of Abram shall all the earth be blessed, because the dominion of the correct people on the earth is what puts the earth in a better place. That is not the case when you look at the world right now. The world right now is confusion. The world right now is chaos and double-sided, double crossings and division among governments and coup de grace, whatever they call that, coup d'etats, and overthrows and all types of mess that's going on. And it's been like that for thousands of years. But the Most High stating right from the very beginning that there is a good ending after all of these things take place, because he's referring to the book of Revelation right here. He's referring to the book of Isaiah right here. He's referring to all the prophecies and everything that leads to it. You understand what I'm saying? And so it's a process, but he's making a bold statement because it's like a foreshadowing of what the kingdom of heaven is going to cause the earth to be like. And we are a part of that process. You and I and Capiar right here and all the brothers and sisters that are, raising children in this day and age and this society at this time in history. We have to live our lives like we are an important part of this history, because we have to do our part in humbling ourselves and showing the Most High that, yes, we understand what time it is. And yes, we have been putting off on coming together as a nation for so many generations. Now the ball's in our court, so to speak, right? Meaning now it's our turn to see what it is that we could do in this life, where our forefathers have failed. But it all was told to Abram right from the jump what the end result was going to be. And we are fighting for that end result even today. Go ahead.
Verse 4. So Abraham departed as the Lord has spoken unto him,
mm-hmm.
and Lot went with him.
Mm-hmm.
And Abraham was 75 years old when he departed out of Haran.
He was 75 when he left that land. You know what I mean? Most people, when they're 75, they're trying to stay in one place. They're trying to have their retirement home, you know what I mean? Their 401k, their resources, right? The things that they've gathered throughout their life. They're not trying to move and go somewhere else to you know what I'm saying, charter out in the unknown. But Abram had a different spirit in him, and that is why his name means exalted father, because he's somebody special. He ain't no regular. Keep going. Was that the end of the section?
Wow.
One more verse?
Abraham was 75 years old when he departed out of Haran.
Keep going.
That's it.
Now let's go back to the Hebrew. We got 7 more verses that we got to read. We're going to do this a couple times, but definitely let's keep it rocking.
Now, this is the book of Genesis, chapter 12, and verse 5. Wayakwa, Abaram, Sariyah, Ashataya. It's like Ashatawa. Wa'ata, Lawat, Van, Akiyaw, Wa'atha, Ka, Rakawasham, Ashar, Rakashaw, Wa'atha, Hanapash, Ashar, Ashaw, Bakaran, Wayataza Aw, Lalakath, Arataza, Kana'ain, Wayaba'aw, Arataza, Kana'an. Verse 6. Wayaba'ar, Abaram, Ba'arataza, I, Makwawam, Shakam, I, Alawam, Mawara, Waha, Kana'an, Naya, Az, Barataza. Verse 7. Wayara'ah, Yahweh, Abaram, Wayamar, Lazara'ak, Athan, Ha'arataza, Haza'ah, Wayaban, Sham, Mazabak, La Yahweh, Hanara'ath, it's like Hanara'ah, Alayan, it's like Alayaw. Verse 8. Slayer. Waya Ithak, Masham, Hahara, Makwadam, Labaya, Wayat, Hahala, it's like Ahala, Maya, Mayam, Wahaya, Makwadam, Wayaban, Sham, Mazabak, La Yahweh, Wayakwara, Basham, Yahweh. Verse 9. Wayasapa, it's like Wayasa'ai, Abaram, Halawak, Wana Sawai, Hanagaba. Verse 10. Wayahaya, Ra'ai, Baratza, Wayarab, it's like Wayarad, Abaram, Matazarayama, Lagawar, Sham, Kaya, Kabad, Hara'ib, Ba'arataza. Verse 11. Wayahaya, Ka'ashar, Hakorayab, Labawa, Mataza Rai, Mataza Rayum, Wayama, Al, Shoria, Ashatau, Hanaha, Naa, Yada Ithia, Kaya, Asha, Yapath, Mara'a, Ath. Verse 12. Wayahaya, Kaya, Yara'au, Athak, Hamatazarayim, Wa'amaraya. It's like Wa'amara.
Keep going.
It's like
You're doing good. Keep going.
Ashatau, Za'ath, Wahagaragau, Athai, Wa'athak, Yakayaw. And that is it.
Now we're going back to the English.
Yeah.
All right, Most High Christ. Let's get it.
This is Genesis chapter 12 and verse 5.
Mm-hmm.
And Abraham took Sarai, his wife, and Lot, his brother, son, and all their substance that they had gathered, and the souls that they had gotten in Haran.
And this could include family, right? Children, indirect family, people that they dealt with, maybe even in some cases their servants and people, right? Handmaids and whatnot. You gotta understand back then is things were like that, right? So people that you dealt with, they would all kind of stick together. It's like a family that lives within the same neighborhood. You know what I mean? That's very rare now, but that used to be a very common thing to where you could literally go across the street and holler at the neighbor for some milk or something like that because you knew that they were part of your family and you'd be able to get things you need from them, right? So y'all really lean on each other. It helps y'all maintain. Now, houses were different back then. Cattle and crops and resources are different. So the configuration of society was quite different. But it was to the extent where they were able to migrate as a group out from the land of Canaan. Go ahead.
And they went forth to go into the land of Canaan. And into the land of Canaan they came.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 6.
Yeah, my bad. From Haran to Canaan. Yeah, you're right. Keep going. Verse 6.
Verse 6. And Aram passed.
Abram.
It's like, and Abram passed through the land unto the place of Shechem, unto the plain and Morah. And the Canaanite was then in the land.
So he's just traveling through, getting to a specific zone, and the Most High is going to show him what exactly he needs to do. Keep going.
It's like,
Go ahead.
It's like, it's crazy actually, because the Lord, how everybody said there's no separation in the Bible and stuff like that, but the Lord is literally separating Abraham from his father, his father's house, and he's bringing him into a whole nother land that's like unknown.
Well, mind you, remember, Sarai's father had taken his family and went to that land, Haran. Okay. So, of course, naturally, Abram's going to be with them in that time and was with them in that land until the time of Sarai's father's passing. And that's when he decided to make that move. Right. Mm-hmm. So now that he's following the Lord, moving through the land of Canaan and going to a specific zone in Canaan, he's awaiting the instructions of the Most High to know what the next step is. Go ahead and read.
Verse 6. Verse 7. And the Lord appeared unto Abram and said unto thy seed, will I give this land? And there builded he an altar unto the Lord, who appeared unto him.
Mm-hmm. The first thing he did when he set place in the land is what he do. He built an altar. What's the first thing the Isupk does when we move into a new city? Make a school. And what's in the school? An altar. You understand what I'm saying? Because that is the most important thing wherever we're at. The most important thing is to have a foundation of knowledge that pours out with the people that are amongst us, right? The souls that were with Abram and his family. They're going to need direction. Young children growing up, young men coming up, young women needing to get their modesty in order and understandings right. You know what I'm saying? So the altar is always been a cornerstone of what it meant for Israelites to move into a place and settle. Altar. You understand? In fact, let me get the definition of altar. I'm going to get that right quick. What verse is that again?
Verse 7.
Mazabak, altar, comes from the word zabak, which means sacrifice. And that makes sense because think about that's crazy. So the word altar literally comes from the word zabak, which means to sacrifice. Now, what is that telling you about the nature of having a school? Maintaining it is a sacrifice by its definition. You see how I did that? I'm just using what the word means to give you an understanding of what the Bible is saying about every aspect of Abraham's moves. It was all righteous because the Most High was the reason why he moved out of that land. So, of course, the Most High is going to be the priority when he moves into that land. And that's what the altar represents. Keep going.
Verse 8. And he removed from thence unto the mountain on the east of Bethel, and pitched his tent.
And did what?
Pitched his tent, having Bethel on the west, and Hai on the east. And there he builded an altar unto the Lord, and called upon the name of the Lord.
Called upon the name of the Lord. Keep going.
Verse 9. And Abram journeyed, going on still toward the south. Verse 10. And there was a famine in the land, and Abram went down into Egypt, sojourneyed. It's like to sojourn. So it's like to sojourn there, for the famine was grievous in the land.
Now, here's the thing you got to keep in mind. Who's in control over all of this? The famine, you know what I'm saying? The circumstances. Because Abram was in a land already, Haran, and then now here he is in a land that has famine. And so it kind of forces him to go into Egypt. Okay, you understand where I'm coming from? So while what did it say? Abram was from Ur of Chaldees originally, ended up in Haran and came over to here. So he's a well-traveled man at this point, right? And so he sojourns to Egypt because Egypt was a land that was plentiful. Now the Most High knows what he's doing because Abraham knows that Egypt was where he needed to go to survive, him and his family. Okay. Now, here's the thing. Pay attention to Abraham during this journey because he has to be very wise in his dealings when he deals with the other nations. But there are times where the Most High has us dealing amongst the other nations that we have to learn how to operate amongst them. And that's why the Bible's so important because we have to see those examples and we have to carry those examples with ourselves as we operate in a land that does not belong to us. Because technically, while America was originally owned by the Native Americans and the people that were indigenous here, we are technically sojourners in this land because it had been overrun, right? So let's watch this. Go ahead.
Okay. Verse 10, I'm sorry. No. Verse 11. And it came to pass.
What verse you stopping at? 12?
13.
Go ahead.
Oh, no. It's verse 12. And it came to pass. Yes, verse 13. Verse 11. And it came to pass, when he was come near to enter into Egypt, that he said unto Sarai, his wife, Behold, now I know that thou art a fair woman to look upon.
Give me the next verse.
Verse 12. Therefore it shall come to pass, when the Egyptians shall see thee, that they shall say, This is his wife, and they will kill me, but they will save thee alive.
Hold on a minute. What's so heavy about this? What was it that Abram did just now? Abram had the cunning to understand what it is that he had with him. He knew that his wife looked good. And it was how old when he left? He was 75 years old. So Sarai is probably still in her 50s, 60s. I don't know, right? Definitely not in her 20s and 30s. But he said she is fair to look upon. He knows that his wife is a baddie, basically, right? Mm-hmm. What is it that chicks always be saying on the internet? Oh, you can't deal with having a baddie because I'm going to be getting so much attention. Nowadays, they thrive on that need for attention. But Abraham knew better than to put his wife in a circumstance that was going to make her a highly desired object to the point where it was going to endanger both of their lives, right? So they decided to come up with a different idea. Abraham said, I'm going to pretend you're my sister, which, of course, the woman could be like, well, why would you do that? How come you ain't want to, be loyal to me and tell everybody that we're together? Well, sometimes there is a point in time where you might want to act as if things are on the cool at first, get a feel for the area, get an understanding of where you're at, especially where our people are at. The barrios and the ghettos, you know what I'm saying? People living on the south of the border over in Mexico and cartel territory. You can imagine how lustful people can be for other men's wives. You understand what I'm saying? And that's something that is very dangerous amongst the children of Israel. And even before Israel was established as a nation, Abram knew how the world was. He knew how men acted. And he was smart enough to know, if we go into this Egypt place, there's going to be all types of men that be trying to holler at you, and they're going to see me, and they're going to see us holding hands, and they're going to be like, we need to kill that guy because we need to get that girl because she looked good, man. And we've been dealing with that for thousands of years. Our women look so incredible. You know what I'm saying? The other nations, other people that are not in the relationship, they're always trying to intrude on that. And that's something that the Bible is telling you right here. Abraham knew how to operate during situations like that. Go ahead.
Oh, I gotta go back to the.
You gotta go back to Hebrew. Okay. So we're reading 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So read up to verse 19.
Verse 19?
Yeah.
That's 7?
Let's get it.
All right. Book of Genesis, chapter 12, and verse 13. Amariah. Naah. Akathaya. Play. Akathaya, yeah. Lamaan. Yayatab. Laya. Barak. Wakayata. Napashaya. Bagalalak. Verse 14. Wayahaya. Kabawa. Abaram. Matazarayim. Matazarayim. Wayara'aw. Hamatazarayim. Ha'ashak. Kaya. Yapa. Hawa. Ma'ad. Verse 50. Wayara'aw. Atha. Sarai. It's like Saraya. Gara'ah. Gara'ah. Waya halalau. Atha. Gara'ah. Gara'ah. Wathakah. Ha'ashah. Bayath. Gara'ah. Verse 16. Wala Abaram. Hayata Tayab. Ba'ai Bawara. Wayahaya. La'aw. Taza'an. Wabakwa. Wakamariam. Wa'ai Badayam. Washapaka. Wa'athanak. Waga Malayam. Verse 17. Waya Gana, it's like Waya Nagar. Yahweh. Ah. Ga'ara. Naga Ayam. Gada. It's like Gada Layam. Wa'ath. Bayathan. It's like Bayatawa. Ah. The bar. Yeah. Ashah. Abaram. Verse 18. Wayakara. Gara'ah. Wayamar. Za'ah. Asha. Lam. Hagadath. Laya. Kaya. Ashatak. Hawa'ah. Verse 19. Abba. Akataya. Hawa'ah. La Ashah. Wa'atha. Hana'ah. Ka. Walak. I said that.
All right, go ahead.
That I may be well with me.
Well, yeah, your verse
That it
13.
may be well. Huh?
Verse 13, right?
Yeah, come.
Go ahead.
Say, I pray thee, thou art my sister. And my because of thee.
You know, Abraham was very sure that that was going to happen if he didn't say that they were brother and sister. Very sure. Which tells you he knew how the Egyptians rolled. You know what I'm saying? And so he's telling her, look, just do this and you'll save my life if you do this. It's not him being just standing. And now, hey, let's get a feel for how the people are here first before we go doing any kind of. Keep going.
Sure. Shout that when Abram was come in, Egyptian was very fair.
What does that mean, fair? Gordon. This is exactly what happened. In fact,
15. The princess also of Pharaoh saw her and commanded her before Pharaoh.
commended.
It's like commended her before Pharaoh.
Mm-hmm.
And the woman was taken.
Man that came in, but she came into town. You like, guys, you now. Right? And so the Pharaoh's princes, the people that were royalty in the city, you know, word goes around real quick. You know what I'm saying? They didn't need the internet back then. You know what I'm talking about? A woman changed her Facebook status to being single, and you know she gets all these DMs, right? Or she might change her location, and now she starts to show up on people's recommended lists and mutual friends in a new area. Now all of a sudden, everybody got her. You know, they wants to know what's up, but back then, right? So from the moment they walked into the city, they became recognized by everybody in the top. Then a couple things. One, word gets around fast as heck, right? Two, men like women. That's something that is very high in any society, especially in attractive. To be aware of at all times. You have to consider all of your movements based off of that understanding, especially if you're rolling with one that you would consider people. So with Abram to do what he did. And let's see what happens. Now Pharaoh's like, bring her on over. So of course, how's that interaction go? That's like the police. Us, you need to talk to the mayor. You need to talk to the president. We require your presence. Come with us right now. It wasn't like, oh, let's see if she wants to come up here. Ask her if she would like to stop by the Pharaoh. No, it was bring her here. That's how good she was. You know what I'm saying? It caused that type of reaction. You understand what I'm saying? What? What's up? Oh, it's freezing up. Is it frozen? Like, do you have to like reset it? Try to deal with some little technical things, right? Let me check the stream right quick. Hey, Thwap, for the heads up, whoever's letting us know about that. We ain't trying to have our stuff looking all sloppy and shit. Are we Thwap? See, because what you could do is you could. Do you just change the background?
Yeah. It turned off.
Okay. Nah, but what resolution is it at right now? The video? 720? Nah, you can leave it at 720. All right. Go ahead and keep reading.
All right, where was it? Was it verse 14?
Yeah.
And it came to pass that when Abram was coming to Egypt, the Egyptians beheld the woman that she was very fair.
Very fair. Keep going.
Verse 15. The princess also of Pharaoh saw her and commended her before Pharaoh.
Mm-hmm.
And the woman was taken into Pharaoh's house.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 16. And he
entreated.
He entreated Abraham well for her sake.
Uh-huh.
And he had sheep and oxen and he asses and manservants and maidservants and she asses and camels.
I mean, he didn't just pull up with nothing. He pulled up with stuff. You know what I'm saying? He pulled up with things, maidservants, man. Like he had stuff with him, cattle, all that. He wasn't just rolling in with nothing. You know what I'm saying? But Pharaoh entreated him different. Why? Because of the way they carried about themselves when they entered the city is such that it may not have seemed like him and Sarai were actually a couple because of what they planned to do from the get-go. And again, this is the Most High's control all of this. First of all, the Most High gave Abram the wisdom to make decisions at the right time, right movements, right? And so this is exactly how it's playing out. It's playing out in the best case scenario as possible based off of the situation. So Pharaoh himself is entreating Abram to things. You know what I'm saying? Keep going.
Okay, verse 17. And the Lord plagued Pharaoh and his house with great plagues because of Sarai. It's like Sarai, Abraham's wife.
The Most High plagued Pharaoh, meaning things started to happen to him because of his lust for this woman. Bad things started to happen in his life because he unknowingly was plotting and thinking and planning to try to get this woman's favor when she was not his to begin with. She was not one that was available to even be taken up as a wife. You understand what I'm saying? She had already been spoken for. And so the Most High had ordained for Pharaoh to go through certain things that was going to make it obvious for him to understand that what he was doing did not have favor. Now, the Egyptians, they may not have believed in the Most High, but they had some kind of understanding that of, like, you know how they use the word karma? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That he felt something was going on because of the way he felt, like some kind of natural thing that was taking place to him was because of how he felt about this woman, and things were not going well for him during his pursuit of this woman.
Oh, wait a minute.
But
don't it go deeper into like saying like Pharaoh had a dream or something about it too?
We'll keep reading. We'll see how far we get today.
Verse Verse 18. And Pharaoh called Abram and said, what is this that thou hast done unto me? Why didst thou not tell me that she was thy wife?
Dang. So how did he find out that that was his wife? Because he was able to recognize the curses that were given to him. And you know what's crazy? Israel can't figure out that we're the Israelites based off of the curses that are given to us. Though Pharaoh was able to understand that what he was doing wrong because of the curses that were put on him, he recognized it right away, so much so that he was able to determine, wait a minute, that's not his sister, that's his woman. That has to be. Otherwise, why is all these things happening to me? You know what I'm saying? Why are all these things taking place in my life because I feel this way about this woman? And that's a clue right there to let you know you need to take a step back. If Pharaoh was able to understand that and he wasn't even somebody the Most High was walking with, then you in 2024 need to be able to recognize those things too. You know what I'm saying? We got to operate more wise, especially in these days. Keep going.
Now, verse 20. And Pharaoh
commanded... we read from 13 to what?
Oh, it's like, yeah. My bad. Verse 19. I'm going to read it again. Verse 19. Why sayest thou, she is my sister? So I might have taken her to my wife. Like, it's like that. So I might have taken her to me to wife. Now, therefore, behold thy wife. Take her and go thy way.
So he was jealous. He was like, man, listen, he's already catching hell, right? He don't want to make it worse by causing more drama, by trying to force his hand, right? He at least had some kind of discretion, was like, let my lust not take hold of me to the point where I'm just going to kill this man and take this woman from him, because that won't earn her favor. And she will always resent me because of that. So I just got to let this one go. I'm going to let her go. I'm going to let this man just leave. Get out of my sight. Get out of my town. I won't even look at you no more because I feel some type of way because of this situation. You know what I'm saying? I got to say, Pharaoh, he kept it 100. He kind of did, right? He kept it a whole buck because he did not give in. But see, here's the thing. The Most High is in control of all this. If the Most High is with you, these types of circumstances can work in your favor. If he is really with you, if you are obedient to the Most High, if you have faith that he's going to guide your path, we have to get back to that. Go ahead, Capior.
Pharaoh was just afraid of the Most High. He was like, nah, I don't want no smoke with the Lord. I'm good. Your God scared me.
Too bad Pharaohs down the line didn't have that same understanding.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? Pharaoh, once you deal with Joseph and the Pharaoh that was around in his era, still had some kind of wit about themselves, right? But they started to disrespect our culture at one point, and that's, they just weren't the ones. That's why the Most High moved them out the way. It's the same thing with today's society, because they do that to our women. They do that to our people. They take our women, put them on this pedestal, and shower them with gifts and money, status, attention, all the things that puff them up to where they feel like they could be the leaders in society. But that goes against everything that the Most High had set forth from the time of Adam and Eve. That was the issue with Adam and Eve. The original problem was that idolatry that came from her status. But Abram knew better than to put her in a position to be taken advantage of like that. And he was not only looking out for his own life, he was looking out for her as well. Because he wanted to stay with her, because he wouldn't trust no other man to take care of her. He didn't trust no other man to protect her, because he knew that was a society that did not walk after the Most High. And plus, that was his women anyways. That was the things that he had anyways. So he played it smart as he possibly could. You got to commend that. Let's go back to the Hebrew. We're going to finish that chapter, verse 20, and then 6 verses of the next chapter. We're going to go into Genesis chapter 13. Let's see what's going on with old Abram here, all right?
Look at Genesis chapter 12 and verse 20. Wayatazau. Aliyahu. Parao. أنا شيام ويشلكاو أثاو وأث أشتاو وأث كا أشار لا لاو يلاو. Verse. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 13, and verse 1. Wayao, Abaram, Mama Tazarayim, Hawa, Waashatau, Wakal, Ashar, Laal, Wala, it's like Walawat, Imau, Hanagabah. Verse 2. Wa Abaram, Kabad, Ma'ad, Bama Kana, Bakasap, Wabazaha. Verse 3. Wayalak, Lamasa I Yaw. Managab, Wa'ad, Bayath, Al, Yad, it's like I, Hamakwawar, it's like Hamakwawam, Ashar, Hayaha, Sham, Ahalau, Bathakalau, Bathakala, Bayan, Bayath, Al, Wabanya, it's like Wabayan, Ha'aya. Verse 4. Al, Makwawam, Hamazabak, Ashar, Aisha, Sham, Bara Ashana, Wayokara, Sham, Abaram, Vasham, Yahweh. Verse 5. Wagam, Lalawat, Hahalak, Ath, Abaram, Haya, Tazaan, Wabakwa, Wahalayam. Verse 6. Wala, Nasha, Atham, Ha'arataza, Lashabah, Yakadaw, Kaya, Hayai, Hayaha, Wakawashab, Rab, Wallah, Yakalau, Lashabath, Yakadaw. All right, that is the end of it.
All right, let's get that in the English.
The book of
It was the last verse in the previous chapter.
Verse 20. It's the book of Genesis, chapter 13 and verse 20. Chapter 12 and verse 20. And Pharaoh commanded his men concerning him, and they sent him away, and his wife, and all that he had.
You know what Pharaoh did here? Pharaoh feared the Lord to the point where he even commanded his men and told his men, these people are not to be touched. Don't you mess with them. Don't you do anything against them. He may not have gone as far as to explain why Because remember, Pharaoh was plagued with certain things. It doesn't go into the exactness of what those plagues were. Doesn't go into detail on what those plagues were, but it was enough to have the Pharaoh ensure the safety of him as they left the city. Because he understood that these people were protected by something. You understand what I'm saying? The scripture says, if your ways please the Most High, even your enemies will be at peace with you. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that Pharaoh was his enemy, but I mean, technically, yeah, because he was interested in who was his wife, right? Sarai. So in that case, there is a challenge to be overcome here. And in the midst of that, we had an opportunity for Abram to, again, show his wife to follow his order, right? If you do what I say, we're going to come out of this alive. She locked in. They did what they did. They pretended to be brother and sister. Pharaoh tried to spit game. It went all the way to the top. And when the thing is, when you have that kind of influence that goes all the way to the top, that power that is given to the people at the top controls everything in the city. So nobody was going to mess with them as they left. Read that again. Verse 20.
And Pharaoh commended his men concerning him, and they sent him away, and his wife, and all that he had.
So he had an abundance. He had even more of an abundance because of what the Pharaoh added unto him and trying to earn his favor to what he thought at first was his sister, right? But that wasn't the case. The Most High basically had Abram go into Egypt and hit a lick damn near. I don't want to say it like that because that's like saying he stole it. But I mean, he ended up going there and then increased what he had by the time he left without having to pay anything at all other than to just show up with his woman. That's the end of the result. He showed up with his girl. Everybody showered him gifts. Pharaoh showered him gifts. Then had him escorted out the city safely. And that was that. Let's get the next chapter.
Chapter 13 and verse 1. The book of Genesis, chapter 13 and verse 1. It's like, and Abraham went up out of Egypt.
Go ahead.
He and his wife and all that he had, and Lot with him.
And who?
And Lot with him.
That's a pertinent figure. Somebody's going to come in handy later. Go ahead.
Into the south. Verse 2. And Abram was very rich in cattle, in silver and in gold.
So he had silver, gold, cattle. I mean, shoot. You can't tell me a rapper nowadays has got cattle, silver, and gold like that. You think you a baller out here on your music videos because you got a Cybertruck? You think you a baller because you got a Rolls Royce? My boy had cattle, silver, gold, and family. That's another thing that rappers don't have. A lot of them end up by themselves because they diss everybody in their family to go do their own thing. They leave the hood. They forsake their own people. I don't even know why I'm talking about rappers, but it's almost like he's not even trying to flex. The Bible is just a testament of what he had, and that alone is the flex because it's mentioned in the scriptures. But this was a humble man. This wasn't somebody that was going to go and boss it and stun on brothers and say he's better than everybody else. He's just simply following the Lord. You know, the Most High says, seek ye first the kingdom of the Most High and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Are we good? Is it blurry? It says, seek ye the Most High and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. And that's something that we have to constantly remind ourselves because we feel like we're the ones that got to go out and get it. And the problem is we sacrifice all our time and energy in going out and getting it, getting those things that we need for our life, getting the things that make us feel more secure. When all we had to do in the first place was do what Abram did and just roll with the Most High. Do the things that he says to do. This was before the 5 books of Moses was even written. So the Abram rolled in a very high morale state, even without having the law written there for him. This law. You understand what I'm saying? Because he comes from a seed that comes all the way from Adam, and those people within the seed of Shem were a different breed. And even more specifically, once you get to Abram, a different breed, a different type of man, A man that has progress in his spirit. Keep going.
Verse 3. And he went out, and he went on his journeys from the south, even to Bethel, unto the place where his tent had been at the beginning, between Bethel and Ai.
Which was where the altar was at. Go ahead.
Verse 4. Unto the place of the altar, which he had made there at the first. And there Abram called on the name of the Lord.
Abram called upon the name of the Most High. Again, when he came back home, first thing that was on his to-do list was to inquire of the Lord of the next step, because he didn't stop and rest and get situated. The scripture says he got back and went right back to asking the Most High, okay, what are we doing now? I done went to Egypt. I done came back. Now I got more stuff than I left with in a time of famine. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy. What more could you ask for? When you roll with the Most High, things will start to go in your favor, but you have to put faith that being a righteous person, a high morale person, is going to pay off in the end. Brothers in the world, they go to the streets for that quick result. Sisters, they sell their bodies and the way that they look for a quick result, rather than trying to lock in to the Most High's program to have a long-term better result that has less depression involved and anxiety involved and less doubt involved. You understand? There is a better way. We're seeing an example of that right here. Go ahead, Capio. What you want to say?
I was going to say, here's something to really think about. Because you know how Abraham did that whole situation? Now imagine if he had a woman from today's society. What would have really went?
I think the Most High would have had to go with a different seed, because we would have, because Abraham would have died in that city. You know what I'm saying? Like, good night. Things could have gone a lot different. I guess that just goes to show it is important to know who it is that you're rolling with, the kind of person, the quality of the person that you choose to involve yourself with. You know what I'm saying? How much effort did they put in to show you that they're loyal to you? How much effort do you put in to prove that you're the right one for them? These themes are seen all throughout the scriptures. And the Most High rewards us when we do the right things. And so we have to continue to fight to put. That's way too much. You good. Keep going. Keep reading. We still got a little bit more to go, so you gotta keep reading.
Verse 4, unto the place of the altar, which he had made there at the first, and there Abraham called on the name of the Lord. Verse 5, and Lot also, which went with Abram, had flocks and herds and tents. Verse 6, and the land was not able to bear them. Wait a minute.
The population got too big for the area.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and the land was not able to bear them, that they might dwell together, for their substance was great, so they could not dwell together.
Now, who was Lot? In the book of Genesis 11, it says, now these are the generations of Terah. Terah begat Abram, Nahor, and Haran. And Haran begat Lot. So who was Lot? Lot was Abram's nephew. Yeah, Lot was Abram's nephew. And Terah took Abram and his son Lot, the son of Haran, his son's son, meaning his grandson. Because remember, Terah was the father of Abram, Nahor, and Haran. So Terah had taken Lot and his son and Sarai, his daughter, Abram's wife, and they went forth from them to Ur of the Chaldees to the land of Canaan. So again, Lot's grandfather, Terah, had taken him to Canaan. Okay. So he also took Sarai, and Abram went with them. So Lot was Abram's nephew, according to the scriptures. All right, go back to where you're at. I'm just clarifying that. That way, you know what I'm saying, brothers and sisters can get a refresh on that. That's who Lot was. Go ahead.
Oh, we gotta go back to the.
No, Genesis 13:1. Read that again.
Oh, Genesis 13:1.
Oh, my bad. Where you at?
I'm at the sixth, the last one. We gotta go back to the Hebrew.
Read that one more time. Read verse 6 again.
Okay. Verse 6. And the land was not able to bear them, that they might dwell together, for their substance was great.
Right, because you got all these cattle and people, right?
Mm.
You gotta have room for them cattle, room for them people. So now was the time for, because that natural expansion had already been, the resources are not starting to be dried up, where you're more about a deficit rather than you at an increase. Now we got to make a move to split off and go and establish something different. Go ahead.
For their substance was great, so that they could not dwell together.
All right, real quick, let's get the next 7 verses in the Hebrew. Go ahead.
How many more do we have?
We're going all the way to chapter 14 and verse something.
Chapter 14.
Yeah, it's in 14. Remember, it's seven sections.
Let's look at Genesis chapter 13 and verse 7. Oyahaya, Raya, Bayan, Ra'aya, Makwana, Abaram, Wabayan, Ra'aya, Makwana, Lawat, Wahakanaina, ya. Yeah, Wahakanaina, ya. Wahaparazaya, as Yeshua, Baratiza. Verse 8, Wayamah, Abaram, Lawat, Na'a, Sahaya, Maraya, Bayan, Naya. Wabaya, Nayak, Wabayan, Ra'aya, Rabayan, Ra'ayak, Kaya, Anashayam, Akiyam, Anakanawa. Verse 9. Hala'a, Ka, Ha'arataza, Lapanyak, Haparak. It's like Haparad. Na'a, Ma'ailaya. It's like Ma'ailaya. It's like Hashama'al. Wahaya Mana. Wa'am. Hayamaya. Hayamayan. It's like Wa Ashama'ayalau. Verse 10. Wayasha'a. Lawat. Ayana Yawa. Wayara'a. Ka. Kakar. Hayarada. Kaya. Kala. Mashakwa. Lapanya. Shakath. Yahweh. Saddam. Wa'ath. Amara. Kaga. Yahweh. Ka'arataza. Matzazariah. Ba'aka. Taza'ayar. Verse 11. Wayabakwa. Lawa. Lawat. Ka. Kakar. Hayaradan. Wayasa'ai. Lawat. Makwadam. Wayaparadam. Wayaparadaw. Ayash. Ma'al. Akiao. Abaram. Yashar. Ba'arataza. Kana'ain. Walawat, Yashab, Ba'irai. It's like a Ba'irai, yeah. Hakakar, Wayahal, I, Saddam. Verse 13. Nashai, Saddam, Rayam, Wakotayam, La Yahaw, Ma'a. That is it.
All right, let's get into English. Excellent reading, bro. Getting this shit done, man. Keep it going.
It is.
Verse 7. 13
Verse
and
7.
7.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 13 and verse 7. And there was a strife between Hermana,
The herdman.
and Abraham's cattle, and the herdmen of Lot's cattle, and the Canaanite and the Perizzite dwelt then in the land. Verse 8. And Abram said unto Lot, let there not strife, let there be no strife, I pray thee, between me and thee, between my herdmen and thy herdmen, for we be brethren.
Yeah, that right there is damn near a camp scripture right there. I'm about to screenshot that one. Because the first thing that Abraham did was he was trying to say, what was his reason for them not fighting? Because we are brothers, man. We all we got. If we're not with each other and loyal to each other, even when there's discrepancies that we can't, you know what I'm saying? If we don't work out our issues, what hope do we have of survival? Because the world is a dog-eat-dog place, you know what I'm saying? Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. Survival goes the fittest. How much more likely are you surviving if your own family is not together? We understand how important it is to not be divided, that there be no schisms amongst our people, that there be no division amongst our people. That's why in the UPK, we say Black, Hispanic, Native American Indians every time we use that phrase, because we have to show you that we are the same people. We have to keep peace amongst one another. That's why when we go and do boots on the ground, we go to a place that's all Hispanic, we might have 12 brothers with us. How powerful is it to see Black people coming together with Hispanics, because we know we are one family? You know what I'm saying? We really are. It has not changed. We just forgot. It's time to remind us. These scriptures are here to remind us of how the best of us operated. You understand? Go ahead.
Good. Verse 9. Is not the whole land before thee? Separate thyself, I pray thee, from me. If thou wilt take the left hand, then I will go to the right. Or if thou depart to the right hand, then I will go to the left. Verse 10.
Hold up. See, that was another heavy thing he did, because he saw the situation. He said, listen, man, we're going to split up. You pick which way you want to go, and I'll just go the other way. I'm not going to try to sit here and try to pick oh, you know what? There's more grass over here. Let me get this side. And you go ahead and go and figure things out over here. No, he said, whichever one you decide is yours. That's like when a brother has some kind of resource, food, whatever. And the first thing he says is, no, I got you. Go ahead. You did the first portion. You decide which slice of pizza you want. You pick the chicken from the bucket that you want. We just got to eat some chicken. You know what I'm talking about? I'll get whatever's there. I'm not picky about it. But let me just make sure to take care of you, because I'm showing you in good faith. You are my brother. We are the same people. We could get past this confrontation stuff. We could push past the spirit of contention amongst each other if we just show a little bit of kindness at the right time. Sometimes that's all it takes, just a little bit of discretion. Instead of you ain't always have to buck up. The thing is, we learn this because we see this in the scriptures all the time. When it works, It just further proves that brotherhood is a weapon against those demons that come to mind. Because there was demons in them brothers. That's why they were fighting. We understand that now. We just watched Command Journey how to break that down yesterday. Contention and strife among brethren are demons. Isolation from brethren is a demon. Lack of communication is a demon. Because it builds up until it becomes a kettle pot, and then it all comes out at once and is not healthy for anybody. That's why we got to nip that right from the jump so that it does get eradicated from amongst our people. And there can be peace amongst the tribes. Of course, I'm speaking future tense because Israel wasn't a nation at this point, but we see our forefather operating in a very righteous way right here, in a very brotherly way right here. Go ahead.
Verse 10. And Lot lifted up his eyes and beheld all the plain of Jordan, that it was well watered everywhere, before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, even as the garden of the Lord, like the land of Egypt, as thou comest unto Zoar.
To Zoar.
Sorry,
Go ahead.
Verse 11. Then Lot chose him all the plain of Jordan.
And we know Jordan, that's right there in the Middle East today. East side, east of Israel, I believe. East and south, southeast, whatever. I'm not very, I got to look at more maps, but I believe that's about where it is. You know what I'm saying? Starting to go along the curve, the outer curve of the Mediterranean. Go ahead.
And Lot journeyed east, and they separated themselves, the one from the other.
So they split up and they said, look, let's just do our own thing. No plex. Let's just keep it 100. Let's make sure that we break this up because there's plenty of land around here. We don't all have to be clumped together. That's kind of why big density cities have more crime. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody's just in the same place, tired of seeing the same people, hearing the same sounds, loud ass neighbors. You know, it's not. You don't have as much drama in a suburb than you do in an apartment complex amongst neighbors. This person is banging the kids, stomping around the floor, dogs running around the house above you. You know what I'm saying? I'm just giving you a modern example. But people get tired of other people for whatever reason. We just always have to have contention. So there's like, all right, let's just spread out. Because the more spread out we are, the more you're gonna shut up and not complain about everybody else. It's like putting people in timeout. Take your kids that is yelling and arguing and wrestling with each other and separate them. You know what I'm saying? Let them cool down. Maybe some point later on they can converge again and deal with each other more brotherly after missing each other for a while because they haven't seen them face to face in a while. Sometimes too much exposure can be bad as well. You got to pace this. Go ahead.
Verse 12. And Abram dwelt in the land of Canaan, and Lot dwelt in the cities of the plain, and pitched his tent towards Sodom.
Go ahead.
Verse 13. But the men of Sodom were wicked and sinners before the Lord exceedingly.
Now we see the result of Lot's choice. Because while the land was more plenteous, now he realized there are people that are in this area that also recognize that this land was plenteous, and they fulfill the lust of the flesh there. They operate in a more carnal sense there. Keep going.
I'm going to go back to the Hebrew.
Oh, go back to the Hebrew? Okay, go ahead.
Last one.
Could be
6.
what's it looking like?
Oh, are we supposed to get to 6? I think we messed up.
Just read all the way to 6. Don't even sweat it.
14 and 6. That's weird. All right, then. The book of Genesis, chapter 13 and verse 14. Wayahaya, Amar, Al, Abaram, Akariah, Aparad, Lawat, my Mawa, Sha'ah, Na'ah, Ayanayah, Wawra'ah, Ma'an, Hamakwawam, Ashar, Atha, Sham, Tazapana, Wanagaba. Wakwadama. Wayama'a. Verse 50. Kaya. Ka. Rajaza. Ashar. Atha. Ra'a. Laka. Athanana. Wala. Zaraika. I will long. Verse 16. Washamathai. Zaraak. Kaipa. Rataza. Ashar. Yawakal. Ayash. Lamanawa. Ipar. Rataza. Gam. Zaraik. Yamana. Verse 17. Koram. Hatha halak. Ba'arataza. La'araka. Wala rakaba. Kaya. Laka. Athana. It's like Athanana. Verse 18. Waya ahal. Abaram. Wayaba. Wayashab. Ba'alanai. Mamara. Ashar. Bakwa Bawan. Wayaban. Sham. Mazabak. Vayahaw. Verse 4. It's like this is the book of Genesis, chapter 14, and verse 1. Vayahaya. Vayamai. It's like Vayamaya. Amarapah. Malak. Shana'ar. Aryawak. Malak. Alasar. Kadarala Amar. Malak. Ayalam. Wathada Malak. Gawayam. Verse 2. Aishau. Malakama. Bariyah. Malak. Saddam. Wa'ath. Barashad. Malak. Amarah. Shana'ab. Malak. Adamah. Washama'abar. Malak. Tazabah. Wayayam. Wamalak. Balai. Ayah. Taza'ayor. Verse 3. Ka. Allah. Kabaral. Amak. Hashadayam. Hawa'a. Yam.
All the way to verse 6, right?
Malak. Verse 4. Shatayam. Aishara. Shana'a. Abadawa. Kadara Alamor. Washalash. Aishara. Shana'a. Maradawa. Verse 5. Waba Arabah. Asherah. Shana. Ba'a. Kadara La'amah. Wahamalakain. Ashar. Athaw. Wayakau. Rapa'ayam. Ba'ashatayra. Horanayam. Wa'ath. Hazawa Zayam. Baham. Wa'ath. Yamaya Bashawa Pa Kora Yathayam. Verse 6. Wa'ath Hakaraya Bahararam Shayar Ayah Ha'aram Ashar Hamadan Bar. And that is in it.
All right, let's get that in English. Excellent work. Excellent work. Let's get it.
Verse 14. And the Lord said unto Abram, after that Lot was separated from him, lift up now thine eyes, and look from the place where thou art northward, the southward, and southward, and eastward, and westward.
See, look all around you, man. Look north, look south, look east, look west. Now, Lot done made his decision. I'm going to show you my decision of what belongs to you. Go ahead.
Verse 15. For all the land which thou seest, to thee will I give it, and thy seed forever.
And thy seed forever. Remember, this whole phase of us not being in our land, that is very, very short amount of time compared to forever when we will have it. You know what I'm saying? Because we settled there back then, and then a period of time, we, of course, had been brought away from it. But understanding the Most High's words is where we understand that forever is essentially forever. Because even when we aren't in that land, it still belongs to us. That's why there's no peace in that land. There will never be peace in the Middle East until it's the real Israelites that are ruling in that land. And it's a larger chunk than the Israeli state that it is today, because it's from the north to the south, to the east, to the west. You know what I'm saying? Jordan included, I believe. If I'm not mistaken. Well, I don't want to say the wrong quote, but it's a larger piece of land than what they claim Israel is today. But they're trying to slowly take back that land so they can try to claim it and be like, see, look, it's ours. Just like the Bible said it would be. But they can't say that right now. That's how you know they're not the real Jews. That's why Revelation 2:9 says, I know the blasphemy of them that say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. Because they are not the real Jews and they don't have the parameters of the land that God gave the Israelites. Because they aren't the Israelites. Duh. Go ahead.
Verse 16. And I will make thy seed as the dust of the earth, so that if a man can number the dust of the earth, then shall thy seed also be numbered.
Let me just say this. No man can number the dust of the earth. Because you got to go to the depths of the ocean to get that too. And that's just, no. The pressure's too high. You're not going to sit there and count that. No one's going to do that. It's impossible. You know what I mean? At least accurately. And so the thing is that, yeah, the number of Abraham's seed is going to be a great number. Most High's telling them that. But in Isaac shall thy seed be called. What he says later on. Go ahead.
Verse 17. Arise, walk through the land in the length of it, and in the breadth of it, for I will give it unto thee. Verse 18. Then Abram removed his tent, and came and dwelt in the plain of Mamre.
Mamre, yeah.
Came and dwelt in the plain of Mamre, which is in Hebron, and built there an altar unto the Lord.
So it says right here, Mamara. It means strength or fatness. It says in Oak Grove on Mamre's land in Palestine where Abram dwelt, a place near Abram's burial place apparently identified with Hebron. Read the last verse again.
In Hebron. And built there an altar unto the Lord.
What did he do right when he got there?
And built there an altar unto the Lord.
He set up an altar there. Just like this altar you see right here. Imagine that, right? Back then, without this, I don't believe this may have been established at that point. But there was an altar there. It was like the school before the school. You know what I'm saying? Like the original, like, how do I even say it? Because we obviously deal with Israel here, but this is even before that. And that has an ancient respect that it demands. You know what I'm saying? A pre-Israel altar? Come on. What do you want me to say? I can't talk down on that. That's where we come from. We come from that. We come from settling and setting up a way to worship the Most High. That's why we look like this. That's why we dress like this. That's why we got incense burning and, you know what I'm saying, ram's horns and menorahs and swords. Why? Because this is what needs, it's like stamping a flag. You know what happens when the white man, he moves into a territory? What does he do? He sets up that flag like in, was it Iwo Jima? Yeah. When the U.S. military moved in the Japanese land, they set up a flag at Iwo Jima. They planted the flag and said, "This is the rallying point."
Iwo Jima. You talking about that when they was all setting the flag?
Yeah, I'm talking about when they went to war against the Japanese and hit them back.
Was that Iwo Jima?
The Pacific Theater, something like that. Well, or it could have been some other battle, right? But the thing is, the rallying point is a representation in their military. The altar is a representation of a rallying point in our way of life, our military, our cultural society. You understand what I'm saying? I don't know if it was Iwo Jima. You don't have to worry about that. You can worry about that at the class. But did you see the photo?
You talking about that one, right?
Yeah, that's Iwo Jima? See?
Yeah.
I knew a little bit. Come on now. I knew a little something. That's just off the top of the head. You know what I'm saying? He had to go and fact check me like Hillary Clinton.
No, I remember. I just couldn't. I don't know, learning about it in school, but I just
yeah. I vaguely remember that. That was that was before the nukes dropped, I believe. Because the nukes dropping is what ended it. But the Pacific Theater was a nasty situation. It was Navy fronts, island attacks. It was guerrilla warfare. It was chaos. But they planted that flag to let you know we setting 10 toes down right here. We setting up shop right here. And that's what. Look, read that verse one more time.
Then Abraham was like, and built there an altar unto the Lord,
which was in Hebron. Now the word Hebron means kabarwan, which means association. Okay, association, which comes from the root word kabar, which means shared society or band or company. Comes from the word kabar, which means to unite, join together. I'm only bringing that up because that's what our camp leader's name is. But Hebron actually is pronounced kabarwan in Lashon Kodash, which means a assembly of united people. It's like saying kabar is a person that unites, but kabarwan means a group of uniting people, brotherly people. So there was even by its name, the land of Hebron was a place where there might just be peace. You understand? People can get things going and build a society that is based off of unity rather than separation. Give me the next chapter.
Verse 4. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 14 and verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
And it came to pass in the days of Amraphel, king of Shinar, Arioch, king of Elasar, it's like Kedorlaomer, king of Elam, the title king of nations.
Well, you're supposed to read. Oh, you already read in Hebrew. My bad. Keep going.
From verse 2. That these made war with Bera, king of Sodom, and with Birsha, king of Gomorrah.
Okay.
Shanab, king of Adam, it's like Adamah, and Shemar, king of Zeboim. What kind of names is
Zeboim?
These are Africans, huh?
Tazabayam. I'm just looking at the Hebrew versions of it. Tazabayam means gazelles, one of the 5 cities in the plain, which included Sodom and Gomorrah.
And the king of Bala, which is Zoar. Verse 3. All these were joined together in the valley of Sidon, which is the Salt Sea. Verse 4. 12 years they served Chedorlaomer.
You just call him Charmander. You know what I'm
Charmander.
saying? Chedorlaomer, right?
And then
Her name is the Hebrew name means handful of sheaves. The king of Elam defeated by Abram. Oh wow, that's Kedar Laimar.
Kedar Lamar.
Yeah, Kedar Laimar. That's a Hebrew name for Charmander. Go ahead.
And in the 13th
Not
year,
Charmander. You know what I'm talking about?
they rebelled.
Go ahead.
Verse 5. And in the 14th year came Chalamar, right? Charmander, the kings that were with him, and smote the Rephaims in Ashereth.
See, Raphaim comes from the word giant or old tribe of giants. Tall people. Go ahead.
Karnaim, and the Zuzims in Ham, and the Amims in Shavah Kiriatham.
So this dude Charmander been putting in work, bro. Like just like Charmander in the Pokemon. That boy set blaze to a lot of stuff. Took out kings. He turned into Charizard and them boys. Those of y'all that grew up in the 90s, you may recognize that. Go ahead.
Verse 6. And the Horites in their Mount Seir unto
El Paran,
which is by the wilderness.
Now keep in mind that because what's his name? Chedorlaomer. What's his name in Hebrew? Kedar Laimar. He took out a lot of stuff. This is an unspoken conqueror in the ancient times before Israel was even a nation. In the time of Abraham, this dude Chedorlaomer, he been taking out cats even all the way onto Mount Seir. You understand what I'm saying? His influence is even over Mount Seir. And of course, that just goes to show there were a people that were conquered in that land, and a people took over the land of Mount Seir before Esau was ever born. Because again, Esau would eventually go and take that land, right? So Chedorlaomer and his gang of rebels and whatever the heck they was out there dropping people left and right. That's just how he operated, okay? A warlord. But guess who was close to that? Not so much Abram, but rather Lot, because Lot was close to Sodom and Gomorrah, and that's where all the war was breaking out. Meanwhile, Abram was over in the land of Hebron, and he was in a much better state. You understand what I'm saying? So it was different for Lot, though he picked a land that looked like it was more plenteous. Going after the material things isn't always the right option. Going after a place of unity and brotherhood, though it may be in the ghetto, maybe it may be in a less well-off place, a less bountiful place, could still work out better when people are actually willing to work together. But in a land where resources are plenteous, people get more lustful. Wars break out. Women get plundered. You know what I'm saying? People get taken advantage of, spoiled. That's exactly what we're reading. How old Charmander is setting a path of fire in that whole land. Kedar Lamar, whatever his name is. Go ahead.
Oh, that's it.
Verse 6.
Yeah, that's everything.
So war is starting off. We'll leave it on the cliffhanger right there. War is breaking out. You understand? Nations at odds. Lot's caught up in the middle of that. Abram's nephew. With that, Amadium. About a cliffhanger, man. Right when the wars are breaking out. That sounds like the end of a episode of Shogun or something. You know, or Game of Thrones, or you know what I'm saying, Spartacus and stuff like that. Yeah, that's just what it is, man. Always plexing with these nations, right? That's all they do.
A new one actually.
How about Spartacus?
Yeah,
I still got to finish the last season of the previous show.
also,
I just can't stand watching it because there's so much damn like sodomy and stuff on there. I'm like, I hit the fast forward button. All right. Anyways, Slakia. Amadium, which means to rise. Oh, trumpet. Oh, you gotta close the scroll.
yeah, I gotta close out on the drink. Maya Shal.
Laya Shahala. All right, let's cover that scroll.
one of these. So we can get one of these.
What materials is cotton? With that, a madium, which means to stand, sar, which means to turn, Tanya Hakudam, which means to face the east. And we're going to finish the Lord's Prayer in the ancient Hebrew. Kawab, Hayab, Bashamayim, Thelano, Lacham, Kal, Yawam, Wasalachna, Kawawathna, Kasalachna, Kawawathina, Walaa, Karyayna, Anasawan, Abal, Hawashayna, Mayan, Rai, Hayab, Makab, Amalakwa, Wahala, Tapara, Lawulamu. Come on. And in English, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our debts. So we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. All right, Sar. At this time, we're going to salute the scrolls. Go ahead and face me. Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Barakia.
Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Barakia.
We got to set it down. All right, now we're going to turn to face the brother one courtesy salute, bit of Israel. Amadu Shabbat, Amadu, Barak, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Barakat, Yadim Atah. Sar, we're going to turn to face the sisters for one courtesy salute, bit of Israel. Amadu, Amadu Shabbat, Amadu, Barak, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Yadim Atah. Dismissed.